Welcome. This is the Marbella Report, and what we're providing today is a strategic intelligence briefing, specifically for you, the discerning global investor. We're going to cut through the noise, go way beyond the lifestyle reputation, and really conduct a data-driven analysis of how Marbella has truly become a secure hub for ultra-high net worth capital. You know, this quote from Leif Orthman really just nails it. It perfectly captures what's happening on the ground. We're not talking about slow, incremental growth here. This is a fundamental, seismic shift that's put the Costa del Sol right at the forefront of the global luxury market. So, here's our game plan. We'll walk through these 6 critical points. We're going to start with the big picture, the macro thesis, then drill right down into the hard numbers. After that, we'll analyze who this new buyer is, what kind of assets they're looking for, de-risk the whole thing with the latest legal updates, and then finish up with some actionable intelligence for you. All right, so here's the core thesis, the big idea. Marbella has evolved. It's not just a place you go for a few weeks in the summer anymore. It's a resilient, year-round residential hub. And crucially, it's now fortified by a modern legal framework that gives you institutional-grade security for your capital. Okay, now let's get into the proof. Let's look at the hard data that backs all of this up. The numbers, as you'll see, paint an incredibly clear picture of a market that's just defined by strength, confidence, and a massive inflow of capital. Let's start with the sheer scale of it. A turnover of 3.2 billion euros just in the luxury segment alone. And listen, this isn't speculative money hopping in and out. This is significant, committed investment, and it underscores a deep, profound confidence in the region's long-term value. And that confidence, it's translating directly into asset appreciation. A 13% year-on-year price growth in the prime market, that signals incredibly robust, sustained demand that is still outpacing the very limited supply of top-tier assets. Marbella's status as a global safe haven couldn't be clearer. When you look at the ultra-prime segment, we're talking deals over 5 million euros, a staggering 92% of the buyers are international. This is global capital, plain and simple, and it's seeking stability, lifestyle, and a secure euro-denominated asset. Now, this is absolutely crucial. The market is incredibly insulated. Less than 10% of luxury deals actually depend on financing. So what does that mean? It means the market is structurally resilient to interest rate swings and wider economic volatility. This is a cash-driven market, through and through. So, this naturally brings us to the buyer, because the engine behind this whole boom is a fundamental shift in who's buying. We really need to understand who is driving this incredible demand and what exactly they're looking for. The paradigm has completely shifted. We've moved on from the traditional seasonal vacationer looking for a simple second home. The new class of UHNW buyer is different. They're setting up permanent or hybrid residences, they demand a fully integrated lifestyle, and they're using these properties year-round for both business and pleasure. And this isn't just one type of person, it's a fascinating mix. We're seeing a really sharp rise in younger, tech-savvy entrepreneurs, many under 40. Elite athletes like Erling Haaland are choosing Marbella. You've got C-suite digital nomads running their businesses remotely, and increasingly, global family offices who see this as a stable, high-quality asset to diversify their portfolios. This diversity is geographic too. Of course, the UK and Scandinavia remain strongholds, but just look at the growth coming from the Middle East and Latin America. We are also seeing a significant uptick in interest from North America, which is now easier thanks to new direct flights. It's really cementing Marbella's status as a truly global hub. So this new buyer demands a completely new type of asset. The very definition of a trophy property has evolved so far beyond just location and square footage. Today, it's about an entire integrated ecosystem of quality, service, and technology. Value today is really being driven by 3 new pillars. First, branded integration. Think names like Fendi and Dolce & Gabbana, which act as a guarantee of a certain level of quality. Second, cutting-edge tech and sustainability are no longer optional extras, they're standard requirements. And third, integrated wellness features, from private spas to advanced air and water filtration, are absolutely central to the value proposition. And the value of that branding? It's quantifiable, and it's significant. These branded residences command a price premium of anywhere from 15 to 35% over a comparable non-branded property. For an investor, that translates directly to a higher asset value and much better liquidity on the resale market. Okay, now for what might be the most critical component of any large-scale investment thesis: legal and regulatory stability.
Let's be honest, historically, urban planning has been a point of friction in Marbella. Well, that is no longer the case. A fundamental modernization is happening right now. The key to this change is a new law known as LISTA, and its objective is actually quite simple: create a transparent, predictable, and sustainable framework for all development. For you, the investor, this means less red tape, fewer delays, and most importantly, absolute legal security. And this isn't some distant ambition, it is happening now. This timeline shows a very clear, structured process. The General Urban Plan, the PGOM, is set for approval, and that's followed by the Detailed Urban Plan, the POU. This process gives us a predictable roadmap, and it's systematically eliminating all those historical ambiguities that once created risk. So, we've established the market strength, we've profiled the new buyer, and we've confirmed the new legal stability. Now let's turn to forward-looking strategy. Where do the real opportunities for superior returns actually lie? This is the key question, isn't it? For any investor looking to enter or expand their position in this market. We've identified 3 strategic areas that we believe have a really high potential for outperformance. First, keep an eye on emerging prime zones like Estepona and the area around Finca Cortesín and Casares. They're benefiting from the spillover effect from Marbella's core market. Second, there's a huge opportunity in premium retrofitting, taking those well-located villas from the 2000s and upgrading them to today's tech and wellness standards. And third, and this cannot be overstated, leveraging off-market access. It's absolutely crucial. You have to consider the nature of the top tier of this market. 60%, think about that, 60% of prime deals happen off-market. Why? It's all about discretion and exclusivity. The best assets are simply not on the public market. Access, therefore, isn't a luxury, it's a fundamental requirement, and it demands specialized, on-the-ground advisory. So, the final takeaway here is crystal clear. With its fortified legal framework, its resilient market dynamics, and this evolving definition of what luxury even is, Marbella has cemented its position. It's not just a destination anymore. It's an essential, strategic cornerstone for any well-diversified global UHNW portfolio. The question is no longer if Marbella should be considered, but how to strategically execute your entry.